Hi, and welcome to Week 11 of Inside the Huddle. It's playoff time. We have two teams in the postseason. In Class 3A, we have Patterson High School. I'm joined this week by Patterson coach Chad Blanchard. While later on in Class 1A, we'll get to in Division 4, the Class 1A Select. We'll get to Central Catholic, who plays Grambling. Coach, let's just start off. Look at the bracket. I look at this thing, and there's a lot of teams that I think that maybe could make some noise. The one that I'm not surprised about the most is Lutcher. When I saw they moved down from 4A, they were really good in 3A a long time ago.
Yeah.
Moved up to 4A, were pretty good, and back down in 3A, and certainly proved it with a number one seed.
Right, exactly. They're the number one seed for a reason. They're the best team in 3A according to power rankings right now. They had a really good season. They won Week 10 against De La Salle in a really good game, who was also undefeated. And they were actually two-seeded for the majority of the year. And then after that win, that bumped them up to a one seed. So, yeah, they're a pretty good team.
Obviously, you got to have a lot of respect for the top four seeds, including y'all. We know y'all real explosive. Other teams, I look on this thing, St. James at 15, but
that's a tough 15. It really is. Coach Jenkins does a great job. He's got plenty of good players. They're a great coaching staff, and I feel sorry for whoever they play.
And Union, they had their struggles this year, but they're Union and Amy Eaton, and then just a lot of good teams.
Right, exactly. Everybody from North Webster, who's I still think they're a really good football team. They lost a big senior class, but they still got plenty of good players, including Devin White. Gina is a 3 seed. That's a good football team. Eunice is always pretty good. So yeah, it's a good bracket, which it should be. That's a playoff.
So, all right, let's get a little bit into your game. 4 seed, you're going to be facing Ville Platte. Talk a little bit about what you've seen of them.
Well, they're really good defensively. They have a lot of guys that play on both sides of the football, but number 51's a great football player. He's a big defensive lineman. Supposedly he's a kid that moved from Texas when he was a sophomore, or after his sophomore year. In his sophomore year, he was at a 4A school in Texas where he was the district MVP. So you can watch him on film. He sticks out now. He really does. He's a good football player. Number 56 is a linebacker and offensive lineman. Number 57 is a D lineman and offensive lineman. All those guys do a great job. They have some real good football players.
Yeah, you mentioned 56, Traylon Thomas. 110 tackles, 9 tackles for loss. Just 110 tackles in 10 games.
Right, exactly. While playing on both sides of the ball.
Right, and then I looked at on quarterback, on offense, their quarterback, Therese Alford. Threat to run, and more to run than probably throw, and they look like they're more of a run team.
Yeah, they are. They're a pretty run-heavy team. Run I think we charted about 86% of the time. They do a great job of spreading the ball out to different guys, and they're not a great draw for us, to be honest with you, as a 29 seed, because they've got some good players. But the kids are excited. It's a playoff game. It's a little bit different kind of atmosphere at practice. We've got a senior class that's been in the playoffs now every year since they've been here, and they're excited about it. We picked up the tempo at practice. They're ready to go, and we look forward to Friday night.
I'm sure, obviously, it's kind of odd. You look at the score last week, 43-14, but you obviously weren't pleased at all. And
no, not at all.
And I'm sure you can't wait as a coach to get back on that field.
Right? Yeah, it was a letdown. It's a tough game when it's Week 10. The guys were probably looking ahead a little bit, and it wasn't a real good atmosphere. It sounded more like a library than a high school football game, to be honest with you. And it was hard for the guys to get pumped up and excited about the game. But we fought through it, and you're going to go through that in a 10-game season. That's going to happen. We fought through it, and now we get to move on and see what happens in the playoffs.
And last thing, what on offensive defense do they run, the Ville Platte?
Defensively, they're 4-2-5. They play a lot of zone coverage behind it. And offensively, a lot of double slot where they're getting a variety of different formations, mainly out of one back. But they will get in some 3-back sets, run some conventional power toss out of shotgun sets. So, yep.
All right. Thank you. And, Coach, and I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. As Coach Blanchard said, Ville Platte comes into Friday night's game as a 29 seed. They're 5-5 overall and finished 2-3 in district. They fell in their final game to Church Point, 34-6. Church Point is the number 5 seed in this year's postseason. Obviously, the quarterback Therese Alford. He's thrown for 320 yards and 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And he's run for another 302 yards and 7 touchdowns. So he can throw a little bit and he can run, obviously. As by touchdown numbers, it seems like he likes to run more. Another weapon is running back Dalen Jones, 945 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. On Patterson's side of the ball, they're not short on playmakers either, obviously. Sebastian Charles, DJ Jones, Nehemiah Augustus, Tristan Osama, and don't forget Michael Jones, who's come on after coming back from injury in week 5. Charles leads the squad. He has 551 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns, and another has passed for 1,741 and 23 touchdowns. Jones is a threat in all phases of the game, but he's rushed for 609 yards and 9 touchdowns, and he's caught 380 yards worth of passes for 380 yards and 4 more touchdowns. Nehemiah Augustus has 498 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns, while Asama has 552 yards rushing and 8 touchdowns. Patterson comes into this Friday's game after defeating Franklin last week 43-14, and with that win, they clinched the District 8-3A title outright. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon from Central Catholic, where we'll talk about Central Catholic's first-round matchup with Grambling. Check back Thursday night to see a video conversation with Central Catholic coach Tommy Minton about the Eagles' first-round playoff game.